Okay, so you're about to go into an interview for an urban planning job, and it's a big moment, right? You're prepared, but maybe a little nervous.
Yeah, it's always a mix of excitement and nerves for sure. But honestly, a little preparation can go a long way in calming those
Yeah,
nerves.
for sure. And that's actually what made me think of this YouTube video from How to Become. Have you seen that channel?
I have. It's a great resource, especially for anyone navigating the, sometimes overwhelming world of job hunting.
Right. And in this particular video, they're tackling urban planning interviews. I thought it'd be the perfect thing for our deep dive today.
Absolutely. I think it'll be really valuable to break it down and see what insights we can glean.
Totally. So the video starts off by acknowledging that while every interview is different, there are some classic questions that tend to pop up no matter what. Like, tell me about yourself. It seems like every interview starts with that one, right?
It's like the universal icebreaker of the interview world. And even though it seems simple enough, it's actually a prime opportunity to make a strong first impression.
Right. And what I appreciate is the video doesn't just give generic advice for that question. It really emphasizes the importance of tailoring your answer to the specific field of urban planning.
Exactly. It's not just about listing your skills and experience. It's about highlighting the aspects that are most relevant to designing cities, shaping communities, working with diverse stakeholders, all those things that make urban planning unique.
Yes. And they even provide a sample answer in the video, which I thought was super helpful just to kind of see how it all comes together.
Oh, definitely. Having a concrete example can make all the difference.
Yeah.
It's like instead of just saying, I'm passionate about urban planning, you're saying, I'm passionate about urban planning, and here's how that passion has translated into real world experience.
It's about showing them you're not just someone who can design a pretty park, but someone who understands the complexities of urban spaces and the needs of the people who actually live in them.
Precisely. And that actually leads to another crucial point. The video emphasizes the power of specific examples. It's one thing to say you're a great communicator or have strong problem-solving abilities.
It's another thing entirely to back it up with real-world examples from your work or studies. Right?
Exactly. Anyone can toss around buzzwords, but providing tangible evidence of your skills is what makes you memorable. And again, they walk you through a sample answer in the video, highlighting things like community engagement efforts, research projects, or collaborative design experiences.
It's like suddenly those skills aren't just words on a resume anymore,
Yep.
They come to life showing the hiring manager exactly what you bring to the table.
Absolutely. And speaking of showcasing your skills, we can't forget about the dreaded challenge question. You know the one, every interview seems to have it?
Oh, for sure. Tell me about a time you failed, or tell me about a time you faced a challenge, that kind of thing. And this video definitely doesn't shy away from that. They actually advise choosing a challenge that showcases your resilience and problem-solving abilities, but with a positive spin.
Exactly. It's not about dwelling on failures, but rather demonstrating your ability to learn and grow from those experiences. They even offer an example of, like, navigating conflicting stakeholder interests during a redevelopment project.
Which, let's be honest, is a pretty common challenge in the world of urban planning, right? Balancing those competing interests.
Oh, absolutely. It's an inherent part of the job.
Hmm.
But in the example they give, they emphasize how you helped find common ground and achieve a positive outcome for the community. It's about turning a potentially negative situation into an opportunity to showcase your skills and your commitment to finding solutions.
Right, like, hey, we all face challenges, but it's how we overcome them that matters.
Exactly. And I think that's an important message to keep in mind, not just for interviews, but for life in general.
Totally. So, beyond those, I guess you could call them the fundamentals of urban planning interviews, the video also touches on some other common questions they suggest you be prepared to answer. Like, for instance, what are the biggest challenges facing urban planners today?
Ah, yes, the big picture questions, the ones that require you to really showcase your knowledge of current urban planning issues.
And they don't go too deep into specific answers in this particular video, but it definitely highlights that acing an urban planning interview goes beyond just knowing the basics of design principles. Like,
Yeah.
you have to be well versed in the real world issues facing cities today.
Right. It's about demonstrating that you're not just interested in designing buildings and parks in a vacuum, but in creating functional, sustainable, and equitable urban environments. It's understanding that urban planning is as much about people as it is about structures.
Totally. It's seeing the big picture while also being able to focus on those little details that make a real difference in people's lives.
Precisely. And that actually brings us to what I find so fascinating about this video. It really digs into the importance of presentation, like how you come across in the interview itself.
Oh, totally. It's one thing to have all the right answers, but you also need to be able to communicate them effectively, right?
Absolutely. And that's something this video does well. It gives you those little insider tips on how to really shine in the interview. For example, they talk about the importance of projecting confidence, speaking clearly, and letting your passion for urban planning really come through.
It's about connecting with those hiring managers on a personal level, showing them that you're not just reciting facts, but that you genuinely care about creating thriving urban spaces.
Exactly. It's about conveying your enthusiasm and vision
Hmm.
for the field. And that goes beyond just what you say. It's also about body language, maintaining eye contact,
Yeah.
those nonverbal cues that can make a big difference.
It's like they say, it's not always what you say, but how you say it.
Right?
Right.
Exactly. And on that note, another crucial aspect they touch upon is research. It's not enough to just know your stuff. You got to do your homework on the organization you're interviewing with.
Oh, for sure. You want to be able to speak to their specific values, their projects, their challenges.
Right. Because ultimately it's about showing them that you're not just looking for any job. You're looking for the right fit. You're looking for an organization where your skills and passions align with their mission.
And that's where research comes in. It allows you to connect the dots between your experience and their needs, and of course, to ask good questions at the end of the interview, which, by the way, they also touch on in the video.
Yes. Asking thoughtful questions is so important. It shows that you're curious, engaged, and genuinely invested in the opportunity.
It's like flipping the script a little bit. Instead of just answering their questions, you get to ask some of your own,
Yeah.
which not only helps you gather more information, but also shows them that you're thinking critically about the role and the organization.
Precisely. It demonstrates that you're not just there to take a job, you're there to contribute. And that brings us to one of my favorite takeaways from the video.
It's almost like they're saying, look, we want to see that you're not just going to be stuck in the textbook. You can actually apply this knowledge to real world
Yeah,
situations.
exactly. It's about taking those theories and principles and using them to make cities work better for everyone, right?
Absolutely. And that can mean so many different things depending on the city, Like maybe it's tackling issues like affordable housing or improving public transportation systems or figuring out how to make cities more sustainable and resilient in the face of climate change. There's just so much that falls under the umbrella of urban planning.
And those are the kinds of things that hiring managers really want to hear about in an interview,
Yeah.
right? It's your chance to go beyond those basic answers and really show them what you're passionate about, what your unique perspective is.
Yeah, like what gets you fired up about urban planning? What are the problems you're most driven to solve?
Exactly, because that passion and that drive, that's what's going to make you memorable. That's what's going to make you stand out from all the other candidates.
Totally. So, okay, we've talked a lot about this how to become video, and I think we can both agree it's a super valuable resource for anyone prepping for an urban planning interview, but what would be your biggest takeaway for our listeners? Like if they only remember one thing from this whole deep dive, what would you want it to be?
Honestly, I think it would be this. Don't be afraid to really own your passion for this field. Urban planning is about so much more than just, zoning laws and building codes. It's about people.
Hmm.
It's about creating spaces that are functional and beautiful and sustainable. It's about making a real difference in the world.
So well said. It's about shaping the future of our communities, really. And that's a pretty incredible thing to be a part of.
Absolutely. And if you can convey that passion and that sense of purpose in your interview, you're well on your way to landing that dream job. Good luck out there, everyone.